Hey everyone, my name is Chloe, and today I'm here to talk about the books that I read last week. So, after this week, I'm feeling a little meh about my reading because it was a very meh reading week. So, let's talk about it. I feel like I'm going to struggle to remember things from a week ago because a lot of these books were just very lackluster. But let's start with the middle grade. So we read 4 of the Nancy Drew Clue Crew books. So we are just reading through these. Like I said last week, I think we're reading like one every other day. So we have The Circus Scare, Lights, Camera, Cats, the Halloween Hoax, and Ticket Trouble. So all of these are fun. They're cute. Definitely readable for like maybe a 3rd grade level. She's 8 in the series, and so I would say definitely readable for an 8-year-old. The kids are kind for the most part. They're all trying to solve mysteries, and it always turns out to be a little more innocent than they think, and so we're really enjoying this series. I think number 12 is Valentine's Day, so we're going to try to get through number 12 and then maybe switch gears, but they're getting a little monotonous, but not awful. So there's this. Now let's get into the adults. So last week you guys saw I was binging this Amy Clipston Amish Marketplace series. This is number 4, the Jam and Jelly Nook. So you can read these independently. It follows 4 cousins who all have different stands in this Amish Marketplace. So this one follows the oldest cousin. As you might guess, she has a jam and jelly nook, and she is a single mom raising a teenage boy, and it opens with her getting a call from the police station that he is there. He's gotten in trouble for something, and so she goes to pick him up, and he was with a girl, and so she and the girl's dad kind of have a little friendship, camaraderie, that their kids are both in trouble. They don't know what to do. However, the girl is a very goody girl. And so it was interesting. Like, I kind of wanted to know more about what happened. But anyway, so there's kind of a will they, won't they with the parents relationship. And I just thought there wasn't a lot of tension because there's really no reason they couldn't be together. They're both single, whatever. And he kind of dates other people. And so I kind of got the ick for him. And so this one was just okay. I like the added depth and the realism that comes with dating as a parent. I can only imagine what that would be like. And definitely it would be slower moving. And so I get that. But this one just wasn't great. Then we have If I Die Tonight by Allison Galen. So this one starts with a punch. It has a prologue where it is a kid posting on his mom's Facebook that's like, by the time you guys read this, I will be gone. And then we go back in time and find out what led to this kind of. So long story short, there was an incident in the high school where a boy witnessed kind of a carjacking. And so he stepped in and then he ended up getting killed. And we're following this book from Wade's perspective. And he is kind of weird, a little gothic. Everybody's really judgy of him, and so they automatically blame him. And so it's his perspective and his mom and all of that as they're trying to figure out what actually happened in this situation. And there's just way too many characters. It got way too convoluted. The statements are really kind of hit you over the head. I did like the idea that like the whole mob mentality, especially of social media, and how it's so easy if one person cancels another person, everybody jumps on the bandwagon. So I like that commentary, but this one had too many characters, not enough intrigue, just not great for me. It's told from a lot of different perspectives, and I don't know. It was, I wanted to DNF it multiple times because I just didn't really care, but the end was fast paced, and it was interesting, I guess, to figure out what happened, but I gave this like 2.5 stars. Then we have Starting Over on Sunshine Corner by Phoebe Mills. So this was a part of my January book haul revisit. And this is one that I had to read physically, and it's only 300 pages, you guys. And it took me 3 weeks to read it. Not because it's bad. And I almost just unhauled this, said sayonara, because I'm not into just straight up romance. But I read it and ended up reading it in 2 days once I started reading it because it was really intriguing. It's about Becca and Jackson. And they have always been good friends. She asks him to be her date to a wedding, and one thing leads to another. They have a hookup evening, and then she finds out she's pregnant. And so she is a single mom to, I can't remember how old her kid is, but anyway, so they start like actually dating. He is a surfer, construction worker who never wants to settle down, but then he starts to change. It really gets invested in the pregnancy, and it really just follows her pregnancy the whole time. So if you don't love books about that, then this is not going to be the book for you. But if you do love books about that, like I do, I thought this was really cute, and I was really curious how it was going to end up. I mean, of course, you know how it's going to end up, but just how everything was going to unfold, and I really enjoyed it. So this is, I think, third in a trilogy, question mark. And you don't have to read them at all. The other books are like Jackson's sister. And so, yes, you get glimpses of other characters, but I would not say this is one that you need to read in order. You can if you want, but whatever. Next, we have The Good Dream by Donna Van Leer. So Donna Van Leer wrote The Christmas Shoes or something, a series that I really love of like Christmas books. And so I got this at like a library book sale or something and thought I'd give it a try. And the first half of this, oh my gosh, drug and drug and drug. The second half, I was in love. So this follows a girl, a woman, it's Tennessee in the 1950s, and her name is Ivory, and she is a spinster. She's 30 years old, early 30s maybe, unmarried, et cetera, et cetera. So she starts to kind of dip her toe in the dating pool, and she's whatever, getting intrigued, but then she is finding out that something is coming and like ransacking her garden. And so she finds out that it's a little boy who is in need of protection and just like a home. And so he kind of she takes him in, and their relationship was so sweet, and he became the primary focus of her life. And it was just like the end was so good. The end was so good, but the beginning was so awful and just slow, and I didn't care. And this definitely has those like Southern vibes. If you like kind of like Fanny Flagg, just those like slower Southern books, I think you might like this. But for me, I gave it 3 stars because I wanted more. Also, I wanted more of the little boy story. I wanted more of Ivory before she was in her 30s. But I really loved, like, she had that guy that she kind of is dipping her toes into the dating pool with. He has some opinions about this boy, and I loved like the mama bear that came out in her, and it was so good and so bad. So I'm giving it a 3 stars. I'm probably going to unhaul it, but Donna Van Leer also narrates the audiobook. So it was kind of interesting. Like, I feel like when authors narrate their own audiobook, it is a double-edged sword, because it's cool to see them like express their own art, but it's also, they're not professional voice actors. So there's some, it's an interesting audiobook. I didn't dislike or like it particularly, but I thought it was just a fun fact. So then we have On the Street Where You Live by Mary Higgins Clark. You guys, this is my last Mary Higgins Clark. I hauled tons of them 2 and 3 years ago, and I don't know why, because I don't really love them. And this is a 3-star for me. I have loved a couple of them, but for the most part, they're just kind of like, I hauled them for nostalgia's sake, and I think they can stay as nostalgia. So this is a 3-star for me. This is about a girl who moves into a historic house from her family, sort of. It's present day, and in the 1800s, her family, you know, lots of people removed, lived there, and her great grandma's cousin, something, I don't know, went missing and was killed. And now certain killings are happening that look like the same serial killer. So what's going on? Is it a copycat? One of the big leads in this is that it's reincarnation, and that's not something I believe in, and just the way it was done was very, very eye-rolly. But this one also suffers from too many characters, and too many very obvious red herrings. Like, there's a guy who can't remember where he was in the night, of course, like silly things, and it just got too much. I didn't like it. I mean, the ending was like, she's also got a history with stalking, and somebody is stalking her again, and so that storyline was anticlimactic, and we don't really like, okay, whatever. And then the killing thing was fine. I don't know. We get a lot of perspectives, a lot of characters. This was a 3-star for me, not my favorite. However, the week did end on a very good note. So this is Seasons Under Heaven by Beverly LaHaye and Terry Blackstock. So these are true. Beverly LaHaye, her husband, again, question mark, is Tim LaHaye, and a well-known Christian fiction author. So these two women wrote this together, and this is the start of a series, and it is present day. I mean, it's supposed to be like contemporary. I don't know when it was written, because it feels like late 90s maybe. But this is about a bunch of people on a cul-de-sac, and there's 4 different families, and each book follows one of the different families. So in this one, we follow Brenda maybe. Let's see. Brenda Dodd and her husband, David, I think. And they have 4 kids. They homeschool relatable. And one of their kids starts acting funny. He's just really like lethargic and is having like a lot of just kind of sickness. And they find out that he has a heart condition that was caused by a virus that he had a while ago. And so we kind of watch as he kind of falls apart, and a transplant is the only solution. And so this one was heavy, but also uplifting in some ways. And I loved seeing how the like cul-de-sac neighbors really rallied around them. And this book, I think, just hit a little too close to home for me, honestly, because we had a medical issue with one of our babies, and our cul-de-sac really rallied around us, and I really loved that part of it. And I mean, I gave this like 4.5 stars. My only complaint about it is that I don't think I love all the characters, because this is a Christian fiction, and they're definitely more conservative than I am, and so some of the commentary is a little off-putting. But for the most part, I really enjoyed this. I was emotionally invested. Like I said, it hit close to home, so I'm kind of feeling like eek about it, but it was really good. Really good. And I did what I always do, and I got on Pango and ordered the rest of them. Luckily, one seller had number 2, 3, and 4 for like $1 and $2 each. And so I had to pay shipping, which I don't love doing, but I got all the other 3 for like $10. So paid to check Pango, and yeah, overall this was great. I'm gonna keep reading the series, so spoiler alert maybe for next week, unless they all are super heavy. So we'll see. I might need a breather from them. But that is everything that I read in this last week. Let me know, have you read any of these books? I didn't know Beverly LaHaye. I've never heard of anything by her. Does she write a lot? You guys let me know. And this sometimes when authors collab like this, it's kind of clunky, and you can tell that 2 people wrote it, and I would say this is very seamless. I'm really intrigued by all of the characters, because we get all 4 families' stories, but one main focus, and so I'm excited to read the other families. And yeah, it was a good way to end a not so great week. So let me know what you've read and if you've read any of these, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.